The time is now 846 AD, the dawn of the Viking Age, and today you will be a rune caster, blessed with the sight of the gods. With the help of Acolytes, you will be able to cast the right spells to lead your clan to victory. I'm David.
And I'm April.
From Your Turn Gaming, and today we will be teaching you Bloodrunes by Zach Turner. We will teach you the game's setup, what to do on your turn, how to cast spells, and of course, how to win the game. Come and join us.
So let's talk about some of the things that the game comes with. The game is made for 2 to 4 players and plays in around 60 minutes. In the box, you will see 4 caster consoles, which we have 2 of them set up in today's game, but there's also a green and a yellow one as well. There's 24 Blood Fortunes in each color, 25 Acolytes, 106 rune cards, 1 casting mat, 4 reference cards, and of course spell cards. So now let's talk about how to set up the game. Depending on how many players you have today will depend on how you will set up the game. If you are playing a 4-player game, you will shuffle all of the spell cards and place them in a stack for a draw pile. If you are playing a 3-player game, you'll remove the cards that don't have the 3 in the lower left corner. As David's showing you right now, the 3 is missing on those cards, and you'll remove all of them for a 3-player game. At this point, the players will sit in a specific order. They will face the board on each side, leaving one side open. If you're playing a 2-player game, which we are doing today, you will notice that you're going to remove the cards where the 2 is missing. And players are going to sit across from one another, facing opposite sides. For our example today, we are going to sit next to each other so that you can see us playing, but we're going to be playing as if I am facing straight on and David is facing straight on in his direction. Next, you're going to shuffle the rune cards by sliding them around, which we did pre-game. Then you're going to place your casting mat in the middle of the players. So the rune cards will be placed on one side of the mat, and then you're going to have your spell deck on the other side of the mat. You'll then place your caster console in front of each player, which we have done. I'm the blue and David is the red. On your casting console, you will notice that there are 2 sides. You are to decide on which side you want to start with all the players. In our example today, we are not playing the attribute side and we are just going to play the normal side. But the rulebook also gives you rules on what to do if you are playing the attribute side. It just gives you a different perspective to the game.
Yeah, basically each caster gets its own set of abilities on the other side.
And
for the base game.
Different.
Yeah, and each one is different. On the base side, it's just this, there's nothing there. Each player will be given 5 runes face down. This is your caster's hand. 1 rune will be placed in the center of the casting board. So these are the runes. The runes are kept secret. If any other runes is Loki, you will replace the Loki with a non-Loki tile.
So here's an example of the Loki tile.
You will then deal out 1 spell to each player face up. This is considered your caster's spell book. You may not have at any time more than 6 spells in your book unless you're playing the Yellow Clan's attributes. Each spellbook remains face up so all casters can see them. You will reveal 3 spell cards per river and then place the rest face down. Now place 3 Acolytes matching the appropriate color on the bottom leftmost corner of your caster console. The remaining Acolytes and Blood Fortunes will be placed next to the console. This is now considered your destiny pool. A player may only build Acolytes from their destiny pool. All other runes must be attained through raid spells. If you are not playing with clan attributes, you will remove 1 red Acolyte from the game, leaving 3 Acolytes and 6 Bloodrunes. You are now ready to play. The player that has seen their own blood recently goes first, and then play goes clockwise.
All right, babe. Have you seen your blood recently?
Not in a long time.
Okay, well...
Or you can do a dice roll. A dice roll might be better. I don't...
We honestly don't remember who's seen their blood first. Okay, so what is the object of the game? Your objective now is to build your clan's fortunes by casting spells that gain blood fortunes or steal them from other casters. The first to 6 blood fortunes wins. So meaning you have 6 on your board, maybe they're your own or they're your opponent's. We're going to find out. So now we're going to talk about the different things that you can do on your turn. So there are 6 things that you can do with your acolytes. You'll move one of your acolytes forward to show that you have used an action. So right here, I've moved him forward. So once all the acolytes have been moved forward, meaning like that, then you will pull them back, meaning that is going to be the end of your turn. So the 6 things that you can choose to do are, you can choose to pick up a rune from here. You can pick up a spell, which is on the other side. You can cast a rune, cast a spell, refresh the runes, or refresh the spell. And so now we're going to talk about what each one does.
Okay, picking up a rune. You may choose to draw a rune from the face-up river and place it in your hand for 1 action. So here with these 3, if you see a Loki, you probably want to grab that one because that's a wild. So you would use 1 action, you can pick it up. And then the river is immediately filled. If there are no rune cards left in the deck, leave the top runes on the mat, but remove all covered runes and shuffle them with the discard pile to make a new rune deck. So let's just kind of show what that means. So if we had, let's say, a bunch of runes here, let's say this rune deck was completely depleted. Just going to give you an example of what that would actually look like. So let's say all these are out, right? And then let's say all the runes were gone. What that means is you would take the runes from the bottom, take these out.
Leaving the top one.
Leaving the top one. Always leaving the top one. And then these would get reshuffled and then replenished. Creating a new rune deck. In the game, there are 11 unique runes in the deck of 106. To make sure you're looking at it correctly, in the top left corner, you will see a small rune symbol, and that this signifies that the rune is face up. You will also see dots underneath the symbol, and this shows how rare the rune is, 1 dot being the rarest, and 5 dots being the most common. The reference sheet also, if you look at the reference sheet, it tells you how common and how rare certain runes are in the rune deck. So the Loki, for instance, there's only 5 of them in this huge deck, whereas the Wealth has 20 of them. And if you notice, this has got 5 dots, and the Loki one only has 1 dot, the least common. Pick up a spell. Another option is picking up a spell card from the river to place it in your spell book in front of you. So if I instead of picking up a rune, if I wanted to use one of my actions to pick up a spell, I would move one of my acolytes up, and then I would look at these spells and I would be like, oh, I like this one. I want this hex. And I can place this in my spell book for 1 action and then immediately replenish the river. If there are no spells left in the deck, you will need to shuffle the discard pile, and then that becomes a new spell deck. Cast a rune. That's another action that you can do. When you want to cast a rune, you would look at your hand secretly, not show your opponents, but obviously in this example, I'm going to show what mine is. You can use an action to instead cast a rune. So if I wanted to cast this one, for instance, I could look at the rune pentagram here and then figure out, okay, where do I want to place this? I can just say, you know what, I'm gonna cast the Loki in the center, replacing the rune in the center. And this is a wild for everybody that's playing. So Lokis are really powerful because they're any symbol to cast any of your spells based on orientation, but they also benefit your opponent. So just keep that in mind. And you can always cover up a Loki in a later turn.
And it is important to remember which way you're facing. So the way that David is facing, he has to create those symbols in that orientation. For me, the way I am looking at it, I have to look at it as the way that I am facing.
Yeah, so as an example, so if I wanted to cast this hex, for instance, these symbols have to be going from left to right under my orientation. So I'm looking at the board from the bottom up right here. I have to be able to cast it like this. So this symbol would actually need to be here, and this F symbol would need to be here in order for me to cast this spell, so as the Loki is the wild here in this particular example. Whereas if April had this spell and she wanted to cast it, the orientation is different. It's actually this way. So the fish would have to be over here, and then the other symbol would have to be over here.
because it's based on the way that that player is looking at it.
The orientation does matter, so make sure you understand how that works. I think it's a cool mechanic in the game. I haven't seen any other game with this mechanic. One of the reasons why I bought the game was because it's an interesting mechanic that I didn't see in any other board game out there. Okay, another action you can do is casting a spell. If a rune configuration on that map matches the rune configuration on a spell card in your spell book, you may cast that spell and do what the spell card effect says. If there are only 2 rune spaces on the spell rune configuration, the runes can be anywhere on the mat. So as long as they're next to each other, the cast spell then goes to the discard pile. So now if I want to play this hex, discard 1 active ward from any caster. If I played this spell, well, she doesn't have an active ward, but let's just say she does. Let's say she has this active ward. If she had this ward here and I place this, I can have her discard that 1 ward with that spell, because it matches these symbols for my orientation, and then they get discarded, basically. In the spell cards, there are 4 different types. There's builds, there's raids, there's wards, and there's hexes. So here's a raid, here's a build, here's a ward, here's a hex. These are all 4 of them right here. These are all the 4 types that they have in the game. Builds, these cards are green and allow you to build Acolytes and Blood Fortunes directly. That's what this one is. They're the easiest way to progress in the game. Raids, these are red cards that allow you to steal Acolytes or blood tokens from other players. As the card says, you will follow the spell and steal from the player to the left, across, right, any. You will then place it in your console. If the player does not have any, you may take the blood fortune from their destiny pool instead. So there's the destiny pool is right here, and then this is where their blood fortune. So if you're stealing a blood rune, basically the way it works is if she has one here to steal, you steal from here. If she doesn't have anything here, I can steal from the destiny pool, which is right here. The same is true for Acolytes. You can also steal their Acolytes. So if I wanted to not be able to have as many actions in a turn, I could potentially steal one of these from her with a raid. This game can be very cutthroat. Protection wards. You will place the ward card in your active ward space. So if I had this, I cannot be raided by any caster. So if she tries to play this raid against me, she can't because the ward protects me. She would first have to hex it before she could do it. You may not cast other wards to your active ward stack that are duplicate the directions. So if I have a ward that says cannot be targeted from the right, I can't put double of the same card on. But you can put more than one active ward. So you can have like a left one and then a right one, but not 2 of the same, if that makes sense.
And it is important to note that some of the cards that we took out when we set it up for a 2-player will mention the left and the right. Because we are playing just the 2-player version, the cards that we have set out are from any caster or any caster or any direction.
Yeah.
Not just the left and the right. Because there's only 2 of us. So another action that you can choose to do is to refresh the runes. Say you don't like any of these 3 runes, they don't help you in any way, you can choose to take all 3 of them.
For an action,
place them into the discard, and reveal 3 new ones. And that will cost you 1 action. And another thing you can choose to do is to refresh the spells. Similar to the runes, you can choose to replace the spell river. If you don't like any of those spells, you can choose to draw 3 new ones. So you would take the 3 that are there, remove them into the discard pile, and then you could put 3 new spells out.
Always moving your Acolyte to keep track of your actions, by the way.
So it's important to know with the Acolytes, at any time, you can never have less than 3 on your console. So if David were to actually steal one from me, he would take one from my supply.
Unless, of course, you had more than 3.
Yes.
Correct.
If I had more than 3 on my console, say I had 4, he could take one off of my console. But I can never have less than 3 actions for that turn. Unless you're the red player. Now, the red player does actually give you an extra Acolyte if you are playing on the attribute side.
All right, to end the game, the first caster to get all 6 blood fortunes wins the game immediately. The dominant clan then does a victory lap, rubbing it in other people's faces. Now, keep in mind, when you actually win this game, you could end up with, I could end up with 4 of these blood tokens on here, and then 2 stolen blood tokens from another player. So since you can steal blood tokens from other players, you might end up some configuration like this.
Doesn't have to be all of your blood tokens.
It could be somebody else's with the raid spells. That's right. That is basically Bloodrunes. We appreciate you watching this video. If you found it helpful in any way, we would appreciate if you could give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you are new to the channel and want to see more games like this. Thanks for watching. There's more games out there.
Let's go play them.
Now that you've finished watching this video, be sure to check out our other videos. Please also like the video, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the gaming fun. There's more games out there. Let's go play them.